Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I'm Peter Gross, co-host of the original Wild Kingdom with Marlin, Perkins, and Jim Fowler. When Wild Kingdom aired in the 1960s and 70s, many episodes documented wildlife research efforts. Marlin and Jim accompanied scientists all over the world to observe animals and their natural behaviors. Some of the techniques you'll see in tonight's episodes are no longer necessary by today's standards, but the work is still just as important. Wild Kingdom took viewers to the far corners of the world and cultivated an appreciation for animals and their habitats. Marlin and Jim showed us the importance of preserving the natural world, not just for animals, but for our quality of life. And that's good news for all of us in the Wild Kingdom. So sit back and enjoy Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom is presented by Mutual of Omaha.
Let's stretch it out right across here, huh? We're all set here, Marlin.
All right. Now, all you have to do, WK, is run. Ready? Run.
You're trapped, WK.
Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. WK is testing a net very much like the one that Stan Brock, Jim Fowler, and I used in an attempt to capture one of South America's most unusual animals. Most of us are familiar with the saltwater porpoises that live in the sea. They're highly intelligent animals that quickly learn to perform tricks in captivity. In South America, they have freshwater cousins, porpoises that live inland, in rivers and streams. Netting them is quite a bit more difficult than catching WK.
It's getting him out of the net that's difficult. Where in the world? Here we go. We found the porpoises on the Llanos, a vast open plain that stretches for 300,000 square miles. It's flooded and damp during the rainy season, but during the dry season, it almost becomes a desert as the rivers slowly dry up.
As the water level drops, sandbars appear, isolating pools in the riverbed and sometimes trapping porpoise in them. These landlocked animals may perish if the water level should continue to fall.
We took part in an expedition to find and free the landlocked porpoises at the invitation of Dr. Pedro Trabal, director of the Caracas Zoo. Our journey began on the Venezuelan coast, and we flew southward to the vast Llanos. We're flying to our base camp deep in the interior with Stan at the controls. Below us passes the seemingly endless Llanos, a vast sun-scorched wilderness. These annually flooded plains become a desert in dry season, with oases of green along the slowly shrinking rivers. To these remaining havens come the Llanos wildlife, birds by the thousands. Beyond the rivers, emptiness from horizon to horizon. We're near camp and Stan prepares to land. This is country for experienced bush pilots only. We're a long way from civilization out here, and the landings are tricky. It would take weeks of hard travel overland to reach this spot. We've set down in a clearing right next to the camp, and Jim is waiting for us here. Stan flew him in earlier to help scout this area. Jim has been working with Dr. Trabao, who has always found porpoises here in dry season. He's located 3 trapped just behind camp in the receding waters of this branch of the Mercury River. He offers to let me try my luck at attracting some of the many birds with wild rice as bait. I've got some takers, but they won't come down for the rice with me here. Brazilian cardinals, what beautiful birds. South American birds seem to wear brighter feathers than birds anywhere else. Dr. Trabao is combining the porpoise rescue expedition with a collecting trip for the Caracas Zoo. Stan and Jim will search the riverbank for animals on his capture list, while we try to locate the porpoises trapped in the slowly falling water of this landlocked river branch. There's other life here too. Cormorants in a feeding frenzy as they attack a school of flesh-eating piranhas in the shallow water. They're catching hundreds of the deadly fish. Farther down the bank, a crocodile is attracted to the commotion. The cormorants want no part of this predator. There's what we came to see, porpoises. They're breaking the surface to breathe. The river and its banks are full of wildlife, fleeing from the hot, dusty Llanos. Birds fill the trees. Just above, a brilliantly colored macaw. They're almost as beautiful in flight.
Exploring this area earlier, I sighted some capybara grazing along the riverbank. They're still here, an unusually large herd. They're the world's biggest rodent, weighing up to 150 pounds. I've made a blind where we can watch them unseen. Capybara are on Dr. Trabao's capture list, and we're going to try to catch one of these enormous rodents. A roseate spoonbill feeds on aquatic insects stirred up by the water-loving cappy. They're peaceful, timid animals, and they're quite willing to share the grassy bank with a harmless but fierce-looking iguana. Capybaras are extremely wary, but they seem calm now. Even this Orinoco goose hasn't seen us. Neither has a little yellow bird picking insects from the grass. It had better move quickly. The cappies are sure to stampede once we break cover. They'll head for the water. They're superb swimmers. Now. He went right through my loop. Underwater, he's too quick to catch. I've lost him. I hope Stan has better luck.
If I hadn't let him run into the water, he would have choked himself, pulling against the noose on land. The idea is to keep away from those razor-sharp teeth and hold him on the surface with the lasso. got to get hold of a rear leg so I can control him without being bitten. Now to pull the capybara ashore. It looks like a good healthy animal, and it will soon be leading a pampered life in the Caracas Zoo.
Now we were ready to try for some landlocked porpoises. Dr. Trabao had sighted 3 stranded in a branch of the Maricuri River. This branch was completely cut off from the Maricuri. As the waters receded, it has become landlocked at both ends. Starting at one end, we pull our boats along, driving the porpoises before us. Wood ibises fly from their waterside perches at our approach. Soon they'll have to seek a new roost as the water here continues to dry up. The shallow water makes the porpoises easy to spot. Driving them along in front of our boats, we come to the place where Dr. Trabao will spread his capture net. We've recruited local Indians to help with the capture attempt. The first job is carrying the net across the muddy water.
This net is part of a unique capture system Dr. Trabao has developed. With the porpoises driven past this point, the net blocks off their return. Now they're trapped at one end of this landlocked water, but they're still a long way from being caught. The net's across, and Dr. Trabao secures it on the other shore. It's time to get started. We'll try to catch up with the porpoises and head them back this way into the net. The water level here will soon be too low for the porpoises to survive. The only way to save them is to catch and transport them to a deeper river that will not dry up. The net's ready, and Dr. Trabao will try to attract them to the area by imitating the underwater noises of an injured fish. It's an extremely effective call, sounding like easy prey to the porpoise's sensitive hearing. Our job now is to overtake the porpoises and drive them back.
We should spot them soon. There, dead ahead. Dr. Trabao's call seems to be working. They're turning. We'll give them plenty of room to get by our boats. There they go. Dr. Trabao's ready and waiting. All this commotion is necessary to keep the 3 porpoises headed toward the net. Before long, they'll detect the net with echolocation. It's a kind of a sonar system. We've got to convince them it's better to try and go through than to head back this way. A baby. It must be a family. As Dr. Trabal works his way out, we'll try to keep the two parents down near the net. He'll have to hurry. These are air-breathing mammals. If it's held under by the tangled net, it'll drown. He's got to keep its head above the water so it can breathe. These are powerful animals, and they have the advantage in the water. The bottom is slippery mud. It's difficult footing as he untangles the net from the long snout. It's free of the net. Now to hang on and get it to shore. Dr. Trabal's system worked just fine on the baby. Next, we'll try it on the big ones. We had the baby, and it looked like a fine, healthy animal, as Dr. Trabal carried it to shore. Porpoises are air-breathers, and the baby's perfectly safe so long as its sun-sensitive skin is kept wet and cool. It's doing fine. The blowhole shows it's breathing properly. Now to try for the parents.
We'll drive them straight to the net. One's in the net. It's trapped underwater. We've got to get it out quick. I've got to keep its head up or it'll drown.
Marlin and I will have to keep the other porpoise from getting past our boat, while Jim brings this one in.
The slippery mud bottom is treacherous. It'll be difficult to free the porpoise from the net. It's tremendously strong, even harder to handle out of the net. The porpoise is too powerful a swimmer to control. I'll have to lift it out of the water to work it toward shore.
There goes the third one. It's in the net. Dr. Trabal has got to hurry. These animals must come up to breathe or they'll drown. He can't find it. It's being held under, tangled in the net. Jim won't be able to help look for it, as his hands are full on the shore.
If Marlin and I can make enough commotion, the porpoise may thrash in the net so we can see it.
There it is. Just in time. He's got it up for air. The weight of the net keeps pulling it under. He's got to work it free. This is the biggest of the three. It must be the male. The net is badly tangled, but he's beginning to work it off. He's got the net off. Look at the size of him. He must weigh close to 200 pounds. He's going to need some help getting that one to shore. The family's complete. Father, mother, and baby, rescued from their prison in the receding waters of the Llanos. All right, run!
I think he likes it in there.
I wish all animals were that easy to catch. After capturing the porpoises, we kept them wet and comfortable while transporting them to the Waratico River, some 6 miles away. The first to be released in its new home was the baby. These waters stay deep all during the dry season. A few moments to get his bearings, then off he went, none the worse for his trip overland. Mama was next. Finally, the big one. The male was on his way to join the others. Good boy. The porpoises would not have survived had we not captured and moved them. Every year, Dr. Trabaugh travels to the remote Llanos to move porpoises that might otherwise be fatally trapped during the dry season. Our trip with him was full of excitement and rugged adventure, and our objective was not to destroy, but to preserve one of the fragile wonders of the wild kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Like what you saw? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for more exclusive content. And visit our website at wildkingdom.com.